recording, and if we find benefit of later use, then inshallah I'll come back to it. So divorce in Muslim community, and it's 2:15 now. A survey, 102 replied, and all of them are Muslims, or they say they are Muslims, and I believe them. 58 females and 44 males. And it's important because it's quite a large number of males answered, actually. And it's important when we look into what's the male report, what the female report, and I made it percentage. So you will have, percentage of males and percentage of females. Females tend to answer more. So if you write your name, brother, and take a leaflet. There's two seats here. 319 answers came from the sisters, 199 from the brothers, and obviously there are 58 and there are 44, but the percentage is actually it's higher. It's higher. They probably the more hurt or the more emotional, or women probably more able to express themselves. As a doctor and as an imam, the Prophet ﷺ said the woman created from dollar. So the way I understand it, the man is XY, XY, the woman is XX. And it's more like, because none in the Quran and Hadith said that the man created, or the woman created from the rib of Adam. It's not. So it's created from a rib. Oh, your mom will take that back. That's good. You need to take a leaflet and sign for that. So none in the Hadith or Ayah. So this is the rib. This is in Arabic called dula as well. Dula. So the woman created from that dula, which gives her the women features, the women experience, and more DNA she has. So she's more likely to express herself. And no wonder we had, you didn't miss much about it, just one slide before, that all Muslims and 58 women, 44 men, and the women, 319 replies came from them, answers, the men 199. And if you look how many times have been married, 55 once, 43 twice, and 4 of them 3 or more times. So, the sample. Any children, 88 have children, 14 don't. If you look into our children from first marriage, 75, yes, which is 84%, and 12% from 2 spouses, and 1 had child before marriage, and 1 has child from, she has children from 3 spouses. So you have step brother number 1, step brother number 2. So you have multiple. And have you been divorced once? 80% yes, once. 17% twice, but the 3% 3 times. So what some of you missed, we said from the beginning that this lecture should be to people before they start looking for a wife, and then before they get the registration of marriage, probably before they consume the marriage, and after the marriage, and after they have children, and then when children leave home to school, when children leave home to university, then when children get married, then when children, when the wife have menopause and the complications there, and the husband have weak, sexual drive, and then when they become physically or mentally disabled or have problem, because this is when the partner run away. And I've seen it. I've seen many partners. I mean, not in the Muslim community, but in my work. And type of divorce, 50% or 46%, which is 50, both agreed. Because this 102 replies, so it's more or less it's 50%, whenever you go, roughly 50%. So the 43% of them divorced according to Islamic Sharia, and 10 in British court, and 6% of them just gone. The partner disappeared, which is in Islam, it's called abandonment, or يقولون رسائم الإيلاء in Islam, that he just abandoned the wife. In Islam is only for a month, and then if he make an oath, if he doesn't make an oath and disappears, she waits. It is variation. I'm not going to go to this now. Um, and who wanted the divorce? 46% the wife, and 25% both agrees, and 21% of them the husband wanted divorce, and 6% is the family forced divorce, which is alarming. Why the family should force a divorce, and 2% the court forced divorce, and I think that's probably because of the forced marriage. If in Islam, the court forced divorce when the wife requested divorce and the husband refused, and she can't divorce him. She goes to court to divorce him. But usually they divorce at home and go. Have been divorced from 77% from one spouse, 18 of them from two spouses, and 5 of them one spouse but 3 times. Obviously, no going back, and 2% one spouse twice, once twice from the same spouse. So 18% from more spouses. So she got married, divorced, got married to the second guy, a different guy, and got divorced. So got married to the third guy and got divorced. So more. And I know personally, I know people like this. Now the reason for divorce. That's quick slide. 66 other causes. 51 incompatibility in living, which surprised me because we thought, we divorced the wife because she's stealing his money or because he was, have a mistress or something. But no, incompatibility of living. And it's 51%, 51 people reported it. And 36 reported irreconcilable. I always can't pronounce it. How do you say it?
Irreconcilable.
Irreconcilable differences in goals. It's and here is rough result, but they will see when we go to the differences of reporting men and women. You will see that the men here and the women here. You see more variation. Incompatibility in romance and control issue. 29 reported, and 22 reported psychological abuse, which should never happen in Islam. But yeah. So if you look at the rough slide here, it's the maximum is incompatibility in living. They are not able to live because this one is messy and whatever it is, and this one is so disciplined, and so you have the problem in getting on with the marriage, it seems, and they divorce. That slide is going to be explained more here. So you have the, sorry, bring it back. So you have 52 reported incompatibility in living, irreconcilable differences in goals, incompatibility in romance, control issue, 37 of 100, 102 obviously. One partner not carrying their weight in marriage, psychological abuse, lack of communication, irreconcilable differences in parenting style, too much interference from spouse family, incompatibility in spending, domestic violence, cultural differences, physical abuse, couples stopped loving each other, lack of commitments, little or no premarital education, infidelity or extra affair, religious differences, lack of sexual intercourse, a spouse has personal problem, lack of support from family, living in spouse family home, 7 of them. I thought there would be more than that, but only 7 from the 100 they were living. And obviously, we can't discuss why they were living. But, some as a culture. The one as a culture, probably you have no excuse because you're not living in Pakistan or Syria or Egypt or anywhere. You're living in Britain. Your children grown up in this country, they need to live their life as they see it outside. So don't force something cultural.
So, Dr. Gnan, this is very interesting. If we can go back up, my question is, in your experience, if you would look at the Muslims and if you looked at non-Muslims, how similar would these reasons be in a non-Muslim cohort?
Oh, that's different comparison. But when I was collecting the data, what I did, I researched the internet who did such a survey in Muslim community, and only one survey I came across done in 1986, and they put 4 causes: living with the family, having a second wife, having little money, whatever, force the wife not to have a job, and no other survey. So inshallah, I'm going to probably publish
Can I
this.
just answer that?
Yeah.
Because I work with the
Sure.
broader wider community. I work with a lot of non-Muslims, and I would say that pretty much you would see a lot of these things.
So the effect of being Muslim or not Muslim has nothing to do with the causes of divorce from the data.
I wouldn't say so. Maybe we can pick, Brother Gana will pick few things, but I wouldn't say so.
If you because look into religious differences, only 11 reported out of the 100. So you think religious differences will cause divorce? Probably not. But the main differences in living, the incompatibility in living style, it came as 50% of them reported it.
In your survey, were there any? Could you go into more detail? Like
Yeah, I'll have in a minute. Yeah, if you wait a bit. And abandonment by the spouse, health problem, also 7 reported. Living in spouse, yeah, we said that. It was forced marriage, 6 of them. This is why there's 2 forced divorce by the court. Too much suspicious spouse. That's when you get probably bordering mental illness. Is there mental illness or not? And other reasons, and they inserted quite few. Got married too young, 5 of them. Substance abuse, that's 5 of them. So you have 5% of Muslim abusing drugs. And age differences. Age differences usually doesn't cause divorce because many Muslims have 7-8 years difference. And video gaming, I was surprised to see this because our age, our generation,
Can't relate to.
I started video gaming, I must accept, when my daughter was 3. Built my first computer, and I was trying to catch all these bags of gold. And it's my Sinclair computer. The memory was 128K, not even 1 megabyte. So, and my daughter, I started teaching her computer when she was 3, and she will draw a room by answering the correct spelling. So when she was 5, went to school. 6, she was called walking dictionary because the computer was quite. Where is your wife? I can look after her. So, video gaming, substance abuse, alcohol, 2, gambling, 2, which is obviously Islamically.
This all can be one category though, the addictive.
Yeah, you could, but I want to break it down to see how many actually gambling. But I want to get that. Health problem, I think they came. Polygamy, only 1. Spouse turned to be gay. I never thought this would come, but the spouse turned up in the home game, no longer in his family, and he's gone, disappeared. And substance abuse, alcohol also could be with this 1. And polygamy, none. Husband had first wife. Spouse traveling non-stop was not. Why did I went to all the survey appeared to me on the search, the English survey, non-Muslim, and I took all these questionnaires. So this is 52. Some of them have only 16 questions, some have 10 questions, but I compiled them together and I put them. I said, let's see what we have in our community. So going back to the slides, The next slide, reported by females, 319. But to be able to see it, I put it this way. So incompatibility of living, 52.
So what does that mean? Incompatibility of living?
The best one to answer it is those who answered it. But to my understanding, when I was searching, that there's different lifestyle, different way of life, and he's like messy in the house, and she's very tidy, very clean, or vice versa, or he goes out too much, and she wants her husband to be at home and with the family, with the children, or he is not a lot of friends or a lot of footballs or basketballs. You can go back and break it down by asking people, but she have a lifestyle of one type and she has different, and they can't meet. They have differences in this, and this is the most reported one. So this is 58 reported by all. Um, we are supposed to be in this slide. Yeah, this is for female. They reported 26 reported incompatibility, and the other 52 is men. So men and women reported the same, which surprised me because they both reported the same things. And this is the highest. And you have 23 incompatibility of romance in female, because the male are reported less. Control issue in female, and then psychological abuse in female, domestic violence. I think we can probably skip that and go straight instead of confusing you. We'll make it very quickly comparable. Because that will not appear on the recording. Right. So the male, 26 reported incompatibility. Hold on, I need to bring the slide with the percentage. Yeah, this is after this. Where is it now? Oh, this is what went wrong. Right, okay, we'll just make it a bit larger from here. So incompatibility is 59% of the men, although they are 44, and 45% of the females. So it's more men found that I can't live with this wife because she's really not compatible to me. And that should have been established from the first time they meet to engage. So what are you asking her? Oh, she's pretty. I'll marry you tomorrow. No, you need to ask questions. I mean, when we went to see one of the girls we went to see, and when we went out with Talha, and we went 200 miles, and he said, yeah, that's interesting. She asked him, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite animal? I'm not going to, to marry 5 years old. So straight away, no, we just cross. Although, we didn't say cross straight away, we waited. In irreconcilable differences in goals, 59% also males and 40% females. It seems that the husband has goals in his mind. I want to do this and this and this, and blocked by the wife. I can't carry on. So his goal is more important to him than the goals important to her. So her goals are not important. Because they only 40% of them reported it. Although it's quite high, she has goals. I mean, when I think Abada, I might mention you as example. Okay, yeah? Because one of them said to him, when we get married, I'm keen to do a master's degree, PhD. I want to become professor. You have to move with me wherever I go. I said, no, I'll move home, go back my mom and dad and crossed. So that has to be established at first two meetings. But you can't get married and then the wife is too ambitious and you're not, or you reach your goals and then you split.
That was the wife or the husband who wanted to have those objectives to study and.
Yeah, this is why the husband reported it more. If you see, 26 of the men reported out of 44, so 60% nearly of them, while the women, 23 out of 58. So percentage of having a goals, no, sorry, this reminds romance. Where is the goal in the moment? Oh, the goal is down here, 11. 19% have goals. So it's more likely that the husband have too much ambition and the wife blocked him in the 100 sample we have. So you need really to readdress this issue and say, look, where am I and what's going to happen? And that, if it's after you have two kids, that will be a disaster. But it will be okay when you first met her to get engaged. We crossed, that's another secret of my children. We crossed each of them more than 25, crossed off. We didn't reach Huda unless we had crossed so many. So it must be a lot, alhamdulillah, inshallah, will be compatibility. The same with the other children. So control issue here in Maine was 25% of them, while in the women, 33% of them. So women feel the husband trying to dominate her more than men. But still men are. There's still men, 25% feel the woman dominating. And the woman movement after this case won, I don't know the name of the guy who won the case against, and his wife was abusing him. What's his name? Johnny Den. After that, women movement were very upset because they're trying to say we're always oppressed, we're always dominated, while in fact there's 23% in our survey. The men felt that they were dominating. Romance incompatibility is actually number 3 in men with 30%, while it is number 2 in women with 40%. And 23 reported here out of 100, here 13. So the husbands really need to look into romance is important for my wife. So I need to pay attention to it before even I get married. Is she actually, am I going to show this romance? It's more likely the husband is very, uneducated or he can't express his feeling or whatever it is. Now, too much conflict and argument, 30% in men reported it. too much conflict and argument. Show me when we come to it. Where? It is there somewhere. Yeah, this one, 22 in women. 22 of women, while in men, it's what we said now. Yeah, it's here, 30%. We have a joke in Syria that he want to marry a lady, but he noticed that she nag a lot, keep nagging. I said from the start, I can't tolerate that. So we agreed that one day you nag, one day off. So so they were saying the day off, she was saying tomorrow nagging. So but anyways, it's important for men. I think this is enlighten everybody, including me, and I'm sure many will benefit from this. This is why we had, 18. I thought, it would be 50, but probably 18 would be good for interaction, because people say, "Oh, I don't want to show that I have problem with the family, with my wife. I'm not going. If I'm seeing that, oh, your problem. This is why you're here." Everyone has to come. Really, everyone, even before get married, before getting engaged, because you need this data and reported by people who learn from our mistake. Ebra, like فَاعْتَبِرُوا يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ, Allah said, take notice, all you who are brainy, so you won't fall in the same. So not carrying weight in the marriage, 23% of men and 26% of the women. So it seems both. You think first that, a man is not doing the job, and we know from our experience, like yesterday we had this video, small video, that two videos actually, my wife sent them. She came to ask him to wash and clean and vacuum, and then she came to the room and he was putting nail varnish. This what you call it? Nail varnish. Why are you doing this? I'm becoming a woman. He's becoming a woman. But the other video, he came and he said, have you made any food? She said, no. He said, cook rice and chicken. And she said, call from outside, order from outside. So you laughed because you heard it yesterday. You didn't hear it yesterday. She said, oh, you came late. She said, order from outside. So he went outside the house and he called from the window, cook rice and chicken. I said, you misunderstood it. Make it. So, but it is both, not carrying a weight. Irreconcilable differences in parenting. Irreconcilable differences in parenting. He accuses the wife she doesn't know how to look after the children in parenting. Where is for the women? I should color them. I actually made this to print, to give you the handout, but and that's what was last decision.
17%, yeah.
Yeah, 17% parenting style. So that's 17% parenting style. And parenting here, 20%. More or less similar, but they still both have this problem. It's not necessarily those who reported are husband and wife. We don't know. It's totally anonymous, and I couldn't guess the name of any of them because it's totally anonymous. Probably I can guess one of them, but maybe not the one in my mind. Lack of commitments, incompatibility in spending. Couples stopped loving each other. This is 18%, and couples stopped loving each other. It's 12%. So more men felt the wife no longer loves him. Incompatibility of spending or in spending. That probably 4. Yeah, spending 19%. Similar. Lack of commitments. Lack of commitment is 24 in men, 16 in women. So they feel he's not committed to the marriage, to the psychological abuse, 16% of men. Physical abuse more in women reported here early. Psychological abuse, yeah, it's more women. More women feel they are psychologically abused, and cultural differences, 11%. From now on will be like similar level. Little or no parental education, premarital education, 11. The same, 14 in women. Spouse has personal problems. And I don't know how they assess personal problems. Probably personal problems with other people or personal problems with personality, but it's more personal problem with other people. The women is yeah, health problem, 9%. Domestic violence, 7% of men. 7% of men. But I think women must be more than that. Domestic violence, 28, which probably what to expect. But it's still, there's still domestic violence, 7%. In 3 of them, the men are being violently attacked. Lack of support from family, 3. Other reasons, religious differences, 7%, age differences, 5%, infidelity, extra affair, 5%, 2 women. We will go there in a minute. It was forced marriage, 2%. Men forced to marry. It surprised me. I thought, usually women forced to marry. Lack of sexual intercourse, 2%. Lack of communication, 2%. Usually women will come back to it, will be lack of communication. Abandonment by the spouse, 1. Got married young one and living in spouse family, which is also strange because the husband living in the wife's family's house, usually the other way around. And polygamy, 1. I thought more than that because I know 3 Syrian, I know them, they have 2 wives, 1 registered.
I know a lot of
Yeah. I thought more than that would be reported, but not by the men. Husband married and husband married second wife. Yeah. Too much sexual demand, that's also surprised me, and too much spouse husband, that could be mental problem. Now, when you go back where we left the women, little or no marital education, 14% of the men. They're reporting the men here. Now the men reporting the women reporting the men. Religious differences, 14. I came across a couple of them here and they divorced because of the religious differences. And usually, those I know, they are English ladies who became Muslim and they thought the husband will be more committed and he wasn't. Let me just repair this because it's lack of commitments. Couples stopped loving each other. Lack of sexual intercourse, 12. While here, 2. So, because there's quite a number of male who start losing their sexual ability by the age of 45, 50. There's some, especially diabetic, especially other causes. So she complained, which I thought would be the other way around. That men complain the woman doesn't want, but here the woman complained that the man doesn't want. Living in spouse's family home, this is why 10%, while it's here is quite low. Substance abuse, 9%, 5 of the 100 reported. And because reported by one side, it's 9%. Too much suspicious spouse. Why there's too much suspicious spouse in female, while here one? Why the female think that the husband is too suspicious? You know? Do you know?
The female has many friends. And the
That
husband-
she think the husband is suspicious.
Correct. So if she has many friends, the husband's going to be suspicious.
You know, that's to the female. She's divorcing him on her suspicion of him.
Yeah, probably because there's men who are unable to control their jealousy, and they appear, and probably also there's more temptation now for the woman to have friends, and but it's more that the husband suspicious. We have in Arab culture that husband could be quite jealous. We wrote a lot of things. I wrote letters to my wife when I was engaged. Then after marriage, and when she went to see her family while I stay in Riyadh, and I wrote a letter, which when I read it now, did I write? It's your handwriting. You kept it, and I was banning my wife from going to visit her cousins, both sides. You can't go and visit your cousins on either side. And if you do, and then I wrote a letter in separate letters, like, you know, not to, how did I write this? But yeah, this is probably too much suspicion. Got married too young, health problem, um, physical health problem. It was forced marriage. This is why she divorced him. Lack of support from the family, other reasons. Spouses has personal problem. The spouse have personal problem, and here the men said that the female have the wife has personal problem. Video gaming, 5% of men video gaming. That's going to destroy more marriages because it's more widespread now, even young children. We need to address it really. Age differences, gambling also it's an issue. Substance abuse is an issue, but more men. If you look at more men actually have this than more women have. And turned gay, one. I didn't actually say gay lesbian. I put these four together and it was ticked. And substance abuse and too much sexual drug. I only have one slide to show you. Let me go back to my I didn't go back here. Sad. So these are the extra reasons which was reported by let me get this on. No, it's not catching it. Um, yeah. Okay, thank you. So this individually reported backward mentality to cultural, not Islamic. Oh no. Yeah. Being locked out of marital home, one of them. I know one English locked out of the marital home in her 90 in the rain, and she went to her family in Scotland, and then he followed her. She went to the back to the ex-boyfriend, and it ended by him committing suicide, and she took an overdose. She came to us because she tried to kill herself. But locking your wife or your husband out of the home could be disastrous. Both time husband wanted to have girlfriends, which is surprise as a Muslim husband. Complete lack of care. Go and live in Saudi, the Gulf. I have 3 wives or something. Lack of care for sinful behavior or further religious knowledge. He doesn't want feminism. First husband was an arranged marriage to a cousin, and he was drug and alcohol abuser. The second was for possessive and unfaithful. Forced marriage, another one. Forced marriage to the first cousin. He wanted, I don't know, Gucci, Prada. He's a gambler. He was suspicious about everything, always assumed I was cheating, and then left marriage. The one wrote on a page, newspaper page, seems. He was looking for a scapegoat for his shortcoming. I think divorce has left me with a cultural stigma of doing so, where we independent women are left with no belonging as a result. Had an affair, lying and cheating, in-laws too much involved in our decisions, my conscious reminder to her to pray, salah, wear hijab, whatever, incompatible. Some of them actually were in the main questions, but they felt they need to explore it more and write more about it. Lack of commitment, lack of communication, lack of love. Like Johnny Depp, he wrote quite a long, want to read it? Sexual abuse, also abused my daughter. That's really very worrying and very annoying. She wanted to marry someone else. I know 2 like this. She left him to marry somebody else. There's no mistake or no fault to himself. Spouse, parents, influence made the divorce. Unfaithful husband. He wouldn't achieve peace in the relationship. He had difficulty communicating. Wife didn't love husband anymore. Wife was abusive and lazy. And wife was not a beautiful, attractive as expectation, like a model or girl from the telly. He divorced her because he was expecting Marilyn Monroe or somebody. Right, okay, this is the end of the research. It's a lot of information, obviously. and good lessons to really probably all the ages and all the stages of marriage. And we'll see what we can do to help Muslim community in the future, inshallah. So we will break now and have some snack and whatever. And I need to come back for Sister Abida to take you through the finding and explain some and comment on some. And she has a couple of small short videos, so we'll come back in 15 minutes, inshallah. So you might leave early. We'll see if we can get you early, inshallah. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.
Like 2 weeks later. Yeah. So I think it's good.